Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel. You guys can already tell from the title of the video what I'm going to be talking about today. Yeah, how I saved $40,000 at the age of 23. I did a similar video 2 years ago when I had just graduated about how I earned more or less like $10,000 working part-time as a student. And I thought that it could be cool to do the update because I recently hit this milestone, which was a huge deal to me. Since I'm talking about this new topic and it's closely related to this, I thought it could be cool to give an update to, one, give me some more credibility. I mean, why should you guys listen to me when it comes to, money saving tips and financial independence and being responsible with your money when you're young? Well, because that's what I do. I mean, it's not just because my middle name is literally Money and Wealth, but also because I have a little bit of experience. And not just that, but again, since I'm making this new topic, since I'm reaching out to new audiences, I would love for there to be a little bit of context on my channel because I know that people might see something on Instagram based on some comments that I've gotten in the past and make a lot of assumptions, and I just feel like context matters. So with no further ado, this is basically how I was able to save $40,000 at the age of 23 and some more money saving tips. And the first reason we'll say is because I grew up poor. And I laugh about it now because I see that it was of value. It really affected the way I think about money, the way I spend money, how I approach money. And now that I'm able to get to the other side, I'm able to see the value in how I grew up. But I'm telling you guys, when the financial crisis hit, that changed everything for my family. My stepdad lost his job. He had to empty out his 401k. My mom, she was supporting her family off of, a small business that she had created. And so we were me, my 3 siblings, my stepdad, my aunt and cousin were living with us at the time, and my grandma was also living with us at the time, all on my mom's $30,000 a year salary in a house. I can't tell you the amount of times that I came home from school to foreclosure signs on our front lawn because our house was about to be taken. How many times in the winter we didn't have enough money for heat, so we just went without heat in Connecticut winter. And those are the things that made me who I am today. I'm not saying these things to get pity, especially because that's not my situation anymore, thank God. But I feel like we have to share these kinds of things because we hear and see negative news stories all the time. We hear and see the negative realities of our world all the time, that the few times that something positive happens, somebody's able to overcome it. I think it's so important, if not to inspire people and show that they could do the same thing that I did, to maybe give an outline of how to get to that place. My upbringing, my extremely rough upbringing, showed me how to be able to live on little. I mean, we had to. We didn't have any choice. There was never a time where we were going out and buying $100 shoes or $100 electronics or brand names. That was not a part of my childhood. And I also started really working, not because I wanted to, but out of necessity at the age of 16. It's crazy because one of the decisions I had to make as a kid was I basically worked all summer because I knew that coming up were, a lot of expenses for school and stuff. There was a lot of things going on with school, but there was a lot of things going on in my life. So I worked the whole summer when I was 16, and I was able to save up, I think it was around $2,000, you guys. And I was so proud of that. And I had a choice because the next year there were two $2,000 things that I really needed or wanted. One was a $2,000 to pay for an exchange trip to Italy. The other thing was to go find a used car for $2,000 because at the time I was 16, just gotten my license. And so in the end, because I'm insanely practical, I chose the car because I needed the car to be able to get to the other town and go to work and make more money for school because I knew that I was going to have to pay for school. So I chose the car, And in the end, when my Italian exchange student, Nada, came to our house, my mom loved Nada so much, and she saw what an amazing opportunity it was and how I learned so much from Nada, and Nada was learning so much from me. And my mom really saw that the exchange opportunity was going to be worth so much more than $2,000. And so she said, I don't know how I'm going to get you that money, but you're going to go on that trip. And I kid you not, like the day that the money was due, like all the way up until the end, I had no idea I was going. And my mom was able to get me the money for me to go on the exchange trip to Italy, and here I am now. That was just an interesting story that I thought I would throw in there, but it actually happened. Basically, I've always had the same approach to money. I've always been very practical, and it's because I grew up in a situation that was very underprivileged, we'll say. You have to be able to know how to live on nothing, how to live on the minimum, how to live the bare minimum. And I'm not saying that always has to be the way things are, because now that I'm not in that situation, I'm slowly starting to find the balance between enjoying life and still being financially responsible. I think that's another huge thing that I want to underline. I don't really agree with the extreme financial minimalism of depriving yourself of everything that you could buy in your 20s and 30s and while you're young and able to truly enjoy it. I don't really believe that. But on the other hand, I'm not the kind of person that's going to spend all of my money on designer stuff while my pension account is empty. I think there definitely needs to be a balance of living your best life while you're young and saving money so that you are financially stable for the rest of your life and for your kids and for your family and for your friends and your partner and whatever. Another huge thing that helped me was I chose to put myself in a really financially sink or swim situation. When I decided to leave the house at 18 and move not to another town, not to another city, not to another state, but to another country on another continent, by the time I was 18 and I left the house, between like little scholarships and working and saving, I was able to save 3,000 euros, you guys. And I remember when I came to Italy, I had taken all that money out and converted it, and I had an envelope of 3,000 euros that I brought. And I remember the first night in my dorm room just counting out the 3,000 euros to see, okay, if these are the estimated costs, this is how long I can survive. And it was something like 3 or 4 months without any money. And I had the situation where, I knew I couldn't really ask my parents for anything. Of course I could. Of course they would have tried to like jump through hoops and make everything happen to me. But realistically, I have 3 younger brothers and sisters. My stepdad's out of work. My mom is the only one supporting everybody. I couldn't actually ask for money. And so in that situation where it's like literally do or die, because if you don't have money to eat, you'll die, that I started working as early as I did in Italy. I took an impossible situation because, you guys, youth unemployment in Italy is around 30%. And when I had first gotten here, it was even worse. And so if you take that fact, plus the fact that I'm young, I'm female, I'm black, I'm foreign, I didn't speak the language, like that was supposed to be an impossible situation in terms of finding a way to make money and support myself here. When you're in a situation where it's do or die, and you know one of my favorite phrases is, I did not come here to die, so I did. It took time. It was not automatic. It took time and a lot of practice and trial and error, but I found a way to make money and support myself through teaching English. And this was important because it showed me, first of all, that I could basically achieve the impossible in Italy. But also because it had me start working and earning money earlier. And it had me start like getting into the mentality of supporting myself and having to manage money, because if I didn't, I would literally die. Okay, maybe I wouldn't die, but for sure I wouldn't have been able to graduate. I probably would have had to go home, and then the vicious cycle of poverty within my family would have just restarted, because that's how these things usually go. One thing that I have had to, that I still kind of struggle with, and I think it's part of my financial story, is the struggle mentality or the starvation mentality that happens to you when you've spent your whole life or most of your life living on, the financial fringes of society. And when you spend your whole life living on nothing and your whole life just pinching pennies and not letting anything go, it actually becomes very hard for you to spend money. Like psychologically, it literally hurts me sometimes to spend money on things that I know I can afford, I know I deserve, I just want them, and I can't tell you, like I have to go through like so much justification, not only to myself but to the people around me, to make a purchase. But I think that this is also a bit unhealthy, because being insanely cheap is just as bad as being as the opposite. What is the opposite? Spending all your money. Spending all your money senselessly is just as sad as not spending any money at all and living the suffer life, even though you don't have to live the suffer life, even though you should be living your life to the fullest potential because you only live once. And also you should be using your life to better the world around you. And a lot of times that takes money. If I want to create a job for somebody else, that's not free. That's not going to happen out of thin air. So that's another component to, my savings story. But if I could like just close the video, because I don't want it to become too long. I've tried filming this video before and it was just too long. I just wanted to tell a little bit about my background and how I got here, and leave you guys with some like tips that I learned. And it's that, first of all, my success has come through consistently making positive financial decisions, even when I didn't know I was making them. The decision to go study abroad in Italy for a lot less money than staying home and studying in America is probably the thing that gave me the most advantage in my life. Like now I've gone from being one of the literally least privileged people in a society, dark skinned, black woman, poor, immigrant family, I had all the cards stacked against me, and based off of that decision to move, I'm suddenly one of the most privileged people in a society. A graduate of prestigious school X with this amount of money saved from one of the good expat classes. She's American. Just one positive financial decision completely changed my life and completely changed my position in society and my ability to make certain decisions and have a certain impact. So if one thing I could say to you guys from my financial story and what I learned from saving $40,000 at the age of 23 years old, it's that try to make smart financial decisions. Try to really, really, really analyze things based on, cost and benefit. Make smart financial decisions. Lower all of your expenses. The decision to live in central Milan and living almost on the suburbs was a smart financial decision. All of these smart financial decisions minimized my cost, made my debt zero, and put me in a great position to save money and get ahead financially. If you guys are in the position to make any of these same choices, I urge you to think about them, to do them, because those decisions were the ones that really defined my life and allowed me to be able to do this from where I was coming. Another thing that I would say is diversify your revenue streams. People might think that I was able to make the majority of this money through YouTube, and I do think a big chunk of it came not necessarily from YouTube and views, but from the influence that I've amassed in the past few years. Of course, I've had brand deals, but a large amount of my savings also came from teaching English. A large amount of my savings also came from the fact that I have a great salary and a great day job. What has put me in this position has also been diversifying my revenue streams, so I have less financial stress on me, and I'm able to produce more money faster and under less stress. But that's kind of where I'm coming from, where I am, and where I hopefully hope to go. I hope this video could have inspired you. I'm completely aware of the fact that despite it all, I'm still privileged. I'm still an able-bodied American, but I would like to give hope that there's a lot of people who can do what I did. I want to say, if I was able to do it, I have so much faith in you guys being able to do it. And I also hope that you guys can see where I'm coming from and maybe take my advice in context. Understand that what I'm saying it because I've been there too. What I'm telling you guys to do, I'm saying it because that's what I did. And I think that it could work out for you. And I have the best intentions with this new direction of my channel. I'd love to know what you guys think in the comment section down below. And also share these financial videos. If you guys, maybe some of you guys might not find my financial videos super relatable or super necessary to you, but maybe you know somebody else to which they would be super relatable or super necessary to. So feel free to share this content with somebody that that you think needs it. As always, you guys, be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell so you always know when I'm gonna upload another interesting video. And I'll see you in my next one. Mwah.